Jay, what is your favorite part of our podcast that we do every week?
I think the feedback.
Love the feedback.
The feedback.
Love when the fans, or excuse me, our followers engage with us and start like asking questions or feeding off of our energy. Hey guys, I am Tashara of Love's Compassion Ministries.
I'm Jedediah Gilliard of Love's Compassion Ministries. I'm your co-host.
Thank you for joining us today. Here we go.
The healing process is like, I thought I got over it, and it's been a year, and something triggered me, and now I'm in my car crying. The healing process is I'm still screaming and angry about something that happened a long time ago that I thought that I had gotten through. A lot of people don't choose not to heal because of how hard it is. Healing is, right? It's like an emotional battle between you and yourself. Every day you have to choose you. So it's a very real experience, and people say go heal, like it's easy, like it's quick. It's not. It's a long, hard process, but when you do it, baby, I swear to God, you crying. Woo! I'm telling you, when you do it, that glow up, right? Ooh. Because what happens when we do heal is, yes, it still hurts a little, but we look at our journey and everything that we've been through, and that same cut, that same wound will not hurt you again. You cannot hurt me from something that I have healed from, okay? But in the same token, we cannot heal if we keep on touching the fucking stove, right? If we keep doing what we know we're not supposed to be doing. But the healing process is not fun. It isn't sweet. It's a journey. It's a really long, hard journey, and sometimes we gotta do it alone.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't even believe it was a simple fix. We're back. I apologize for those technical difficulties. Anyone who's familiar with StreamYard, there's actually a button that tells you to join the stage. So apparently we weren't on stage. But anywho, thank y'all for tuning in this week. Thank y'all for tuning in last week. We're not going to do that again. Please, I'm always encouraging people to join in conversation. Your notes are all on your phone today? Because I don't want that water. Use that back there, please. I don't want that water falling on the table. It just feels like a day where something would try to happen. Eric, I see you over here on Instagram. That's different for you. So those of y'all who didn't know, this week we have already announced. So let's go. Oh, you know what? Let's do that, right? We're going to go with the news. Updates for the week. Those of you who may not have already followed my posts throughout the week, my lives that I dropped throughout the week, my messages that I sent out throughout the week. Our podcast is live, guys. It is live. What do you mean, Tashara? Your podcast is live. You're live right now. What I mean is we are now on streaming platforms. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. Matter of fact, I had said to the people before, I'm going to do it from there, and I'm live on my other phone, so I can't do it. But we are also live on a couple of other platforms. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick, because I'm always saying, I kept saying I was going to tell y'all the other ones, but I wasn't really familiar with them, so I didn't, let y'all know what they were, right? Let's go. Who's in the room, guys? Let us know. Look at that. 36 downloads. 36 downloads. Okay, let's go to the stats real quick. All right, guys. We are live on, let's see, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Chrome. We're on Safari. We're on Podcast Addict. We're on ATC. I'm not sure what that is. And we're on ITMS.
No.
What's that?
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are the things that we're on, like people are able to use. So far, all of our downloads, though, have been coming, it looks like, from mainly
Chrome, Safari, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
So for that, we thank you guys. Y'all are already on it. And for that, we appreciate y'all. Please spread the word. I continuously post that's where I'm supposed to be, up here. I continuously post updates on what we have going on. I'm hearing that, or I'm seeing someone say we have static. Oh, my hands, this camera, I got to remember now. We have static. Please let me know if there's still static going on. I know we hear static in our ears.
We always hear static.
But that's consistent, and we don't usually hear people tell us they hear the static.
Was that mirrored?
It's mirrored. All right, guys, coming to you today with the topic of healing. Still a little static. I think it's this microphone.
Do we have the other one?
Yeah. It's in the bucket. Get it out the bucket. Okay. All right. So I believe it's the microphone. We're going to swap out the mic real quick. Hurry up. Swap out the mic real quick to see if that helps. I'm wondering if you gotta love it. This is what live in action crapola is, right? All right, guys. Let's swap out this mic right quick. Yes, gotta have backups, right? Jay, you ready to talk? Let us know if you still hear static. I did just swap out the mic. I'm not sure if that will help. Oh, the reason it sounds clear is because this mic is turned all the way up.
Oh.
I hear less static in this one though. How we doing on a static? D, iffy. All right, we're gonna get going. Jay, you ready?
Yes.
All right, again, we've come into you guys this week on the topic of healing. We told y'all that last week. Jetty, go ahead, get started.
Or you want me to start?
If you're comfortable, if you're not, I can
Just
go.
start this time.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. So, anybody knows anything about healing, right? We're all going to heal from something. If we're not, we're all healing. Thank you. I appreciate the update on the static. They say it's gone. If anybody knows anything about life, if you've lived life for more than a few seconds, I'm going to say, you learn about healing. Because even from the time of babies, it's my opinion, my take, right? So they grow accustomed to this life inside the womb. And I would believe that coming out into the world is automatically going to be traumatic because this is darkness and they're immediately placed out into a whole bunch of light. They're reliant on the inside of their mom's womb. They're coming out to all types of a whole crowd of people, all trying to get them to breathe. And I was breathing just fine on the inside. It's all types of everything, right? So we're all going to have to go through something. In that case, it may not be necessarily viewed as healing, but when you think of the concept of healing that we're going to go through within today's episode, we're all going through some healing. And if you haven't had to heal from nothing, you probably don't realize you need to heal, or you just ain't lived long enough, right? So the key to healing, I have found in doctrine, but I believe it wholeheartedly, right? So the key to healing is releasing expectations about what the experience will be like or what the experience would lead to, right? A lot of us have a hard time moving on because we feel like it should look a certain way. A lot of us have a hard time. It's going to be hard watching all these different platforms trying to see people's comments. I mean, all the comments should be here.
Yes.
I really only got to
Should
watch
we move
those
that
two.
Here?
No, I can see it.
Right. It just looks
It couldn't see us
when
both.
we're speaking here.
Hold on. So anyone who's been through some things from the time frame, let's say, if we talk about from the start of life, the types of healing we may have to go through coming down from the bottom up. Right, Jay? Childhood healing or trauma. What are some things that one may have to heal from? Audience, you guys as well, please. What are some things as kids we may have to heal from? Abandonment issues.
I don't know how to say it, but like if you've been molested, if you've been sexually assaulted.
Facts. Oh, I just did something and I don't know how to get back to it. Don't know what the comments are. Yeah. All right. So you'll have, as Jetty just said, you can have people who have dealt with being touched, and that doesn't just happen in childhood. Let the truth be told. So you have sexual trauma that one can go through as a kid. You have abandonment issues that one can go through as a kid, maybe an absentee parent, or an absentee parent can just mean so much. I feel like that in and of itself can be a very loaded. What can an absentee parent be? I know what your experience is, but can you think of other experiences in addition?
Maybe, would it count if a parent is like never home, maybe always working?
That would make me an absentee parent. Go ahead. If that's how you feel, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, like, let's say you have a family member, like a dad or a mom, who went off to the army.
Oh, I don't know if I would perceive that as an absentee parent, but I can't say that a child wouldn't perceive that as an absentee parent. So I think that's a fair assessment to make if that's, that can be one's perception. That's like you can have a parent that's in the house that a child can feel like is an absentee parent.
That's true.
Because you can have a parent that's on drugs or heavily on any type of substance and they're physically in the house, but they're really never present.
I was just going to say childhood trauma, they can deal with abusive parents.
I think some of the biggest things that we have to be healed from are relationships of every kind, rather be that of a parent and a child, rather be that of a child and different family members, friends. I think I had written down that I feel like some of the biggest, I have so many notes, it's ridiculous. Some of the hardest things some of the hardest things to heal from is heartache, heartbreak, and childhood trauma, especially when it's from your parents. Jetty, what you got? I don't want to just be blah, 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 blah. What you got?
Well, when I first searched up what healing was, first thing that popped up was, how Google gives the definition? Google gave me the Oxford definition, and it said that healing was the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. When I, the little tabs that Google gives you, when I searched up what is healing, it said, what is the true meaning of healing? And it said, to make free from injury or disease. Then as I continued to scroll down getting research, it said 4 types of healing. And the one that I guess I didn't really know what it meant, but I kind of took it and, I don't know, I took it and added my own definition, and it said remodeling was a type of healing. So when I thought of remodeling, I was like, what could that mean, And for me, it was like, almost like, okay, so like you said, people may heal or have to heal from past trauma. And I don't know how to explain this.
Remodeling, when you say remodeling, I would think a change within yourself.
Right.
Okay.
So I would say, there was something I was watching research for research purposes, and it was like, just because you heal doesn't mean that your past trauma is gone, but what did it say? But
I can't tell you what it said. That's why I tell you, take the pen and put it to the paper. Especially if something stands out to you, always write it down. We remember 90% of what we write, only 10% of what we hear. So on touching on base of what you're saying about remodeling, right? And the key that I had given, the first key to healing, right, being releasing the expectations, right? So I just want to say this real quick before I forget. So the first key, I got you. Put a pen real quick on remodeling, right? I was trying to go through the different types of healing. All people will need emotional healing at some point of their lives from dealing with different forms of traumas requiring healing. It can be a loss of a loved one. It can be a divorce or breakups. It can be even losing a job, abuse, as we spoke of, right? Including emotional, physical, or sexual illnesses. I had given you examples when you were trying to look up or figure out your research, right? Let me know if you guys can hear us well, because I feel like I'm speaking low, but that's normal for me. Yeah, I'm gonna move into the mic. So I had spoken to you earlier in reference to that being an example when you was trying to figure out what we were speaking on today, right? Mm-hmm. So you just spoke of remodeling. Now, one of the things that I came across says the reality is that you will never be the same person you were before whatever happened to you after your healing or during your healing, from your healing, right? So I would think that remodeling would be holding on to the knowledge of that, whomever that, like, let's say if we gave an example, right? I hate to use this as an example, but I feel like it's probably the most brute, honest one to use. If you have a child that has been touched inappropriately by anyone, that child's never going to be that same innocent child that they were prior to being violated. So that child, one, is never going to be the same. And then the remodeling that has to take place within that, like when you think about when you remodel a home, right? You change things around. Now you can rip things out. You can put things back up, right? You can bring new furniture in to change the whole appearance. That child's going to have to go through all types of therapy, all types of reprogramming to learn that even though you had this one wicked person here that meant you harm, everyone is not like that, right? Every uncle you come across again, if it was an uncle, every aunt you come across again, right? Every whomever you come across again is not going to harm you.
Right.
He or she is never going to be the same after that situation.
Right.
Right. So their whole way of thinking is now has been reprogrammed in a sense, because now they're guarded, right? They're broken, they're hurt. And now all of that has to be torn out and reprogrammed to know that one bad apple shouldn't spoil a bunch, right?
Right.
Those glasses look cute on you, buddy.
Thank you.
I saw some Uncle Eric and I'm like, yo, those glasses are cute. How you guys doing? Breezy Boo, welcome. Sis, welcome into the room. Thank y'all for coming in. I don't have, if I had like another, oh, here we go. I can bring it up over here. Okay, Jay, you got another point you wanted to go with? And you know, guys, we're always encouraging y'all to speak. How do I see it on here?
See what?
The live.
Oh. On Facebook?
Yeah.
Are you on your Facebook? This is your Facebook, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. So another, you're turning the entire camera, sir.
Oh, I am.
Another thing that I was looking at, right, is I don't want to jump around. I wanted my little buddy here that I usually feed off of to give me a little more feedback today. Also, my people, I wanted y'all to give me some more feedback today. Brianna. Hi, Brianna. I ain't see or hear from you in a whole long... All right, forget it, Jay. That's too much time. What else you got over there, buddy?
Oh, well, what was I going to say? Oh.
I touched base on your remodeling.
Right. So, to go with what I was saying about the video, and to go to, like, combine what you were saying with that, even if a person heals, I guess with the remodeling thing, it's like you still have what happened in you, and you're like, you know, I would say you started off as whoever you were. That event happened and almost kind of like changed you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to take the steps or the stages of healing and to remodel yourself back to that person who you used to be.
But you're saying remodel yourself back to the way you used to be. But it's saying that one of the things we got to remember is you're really never going to be the same, right?
Right. You're not going to be the same, which is why I was saying that, you know, it's never going to be gone because it's still going to be there. Like, for example, you have a piece of paper I can use.
You had a whole thing that you wanted to do, right? And you knew you wanted to do it. Oh, okay. Jetty's going to excuse himself for a minute so he can get where he needed. For his excellent example that he wanted to bring before the people today. In between time, one of the things I would like to say is some of us don't believe either one, that we need to be healed from something. Some of us. I mean, I believe that can be a little naive, a little ignorant in thinking, but we have a tendency of hearing, you know, nobody goes to therapy. Well, not nobody, excuse me. Black people don't go to therapy, right? We have a tendency of hearing, you know, what happens in the family stays in the family. I feel like that's a lot of reason why we have a lot of the situations that we experience in our homes today, because of the roots that we come from. And if those roots are not pulled up, anytime we're growing plants, growing fruits of any sorts, there's pruning that has to take place. So you prune away the parts that it's ready to be used, replant them. If it's not fruits and vegetables, you can pull away from the plant and replant to allow it to grow to something else. To me, that would be relatable to reproduction, even though it's not reproduction. And then when you have leaves or portions of the plant flower that may die away. We're not going to cause the whole thing to be dead, so we'll prune it away, right? We'll take apart. It's the same thing when you go to therapy, right? You go into therapy, you bring forth whatever. We're going to unpack everything. We're going to unpack the good, the bad, the indifferent. Lay it all out. That's what you'll hear the therapist say. We're going to unpack some things. So they'll talk to you about what you've been through, what you've gone through, what brings you here today. When it comes to healing, just like therapy, even though I feel like therapy is needed for healing sometimes, oftentimes, you have to be willing to lay it all out. I got to remember this camera because, I talk with my hands. You have to be willing to put it all out there. You have to be willing to put it all on the line. Those of y'all who are on Instagram, again, please let me know if you can hear without an issue. You know what I just remembered? I was supposed to hook the mic up to that one, the other mic, the little one. Oh. If you get a moment, if you can grab it out, right? So at least we'll have another mic close by for them to have a louder. So it requires fully laying everything out. You got to be willing to, let's say you were violated years ago. Thank you, Brie. Let's say you were violated years ago by any type of situation. You may think you're over it because time has gone by. You may think you're over it because you've let that person go, he or she, right? And they don't affect you anymore. You don't know if you're really over something until you're looking it in the face again. What do you mean? Look in the face of the same exact situation with a different person. It's called a trigger. You got a new person that probably don't know anything about what you've been through, and they are about to be held accountable for something that they had nothing to do with. Instagram, let me know. I'm hooking up a mic for you guys so that you can hear. I know you said you could hear me, Bree. I'm just trying to make sure that hearing is...
Are you able to stay on live and go to your settings?
Well, I gotta go to my settings and stuff too?
Just to make sure.
No, hold on, we're gonna see. Can't hear now. I know, give me a second. I got you.
All right, it's working. Can you hear me?
Sorry, guys, on Facebook and YouTube. Can you hear us on Instagram? Can't hear on Instagram. Copy, no problem. Abort mission. Now she's saying she could hear. It was a late response. You can fix that if you want to. Again, I was saying, triggered. This video is going to have to be edited.
Yeah.
The audio, rather. So you're being triggered, right? When you find yourself in another situation that looks like what you've been through. May not be the same thing, but it looks the same. It feels the same. It's bringing on that same stench and stink of the yesterday. And you can't figure out why you are so bothered by it, right? I could give a perfect example. So I know somebody who dealt with some trauma. Don't worry about it, Jay. Don't worry about it, Jay. Who dealt with some trauma, right? They were in a relationship, and the person in which they were in a relationship with spoke a certain way, a certain dialect, let's say, right? They had been done with this person for years. And down the line in their life, met someone else. All was well, great relationship. They were vibing, some old happily ever after loving. And all of a sudden, that person that they met spoke in the same dialect every so often. It became a trigger. And the original participant, let's say A, right? So A used to be in a relationship with D. D been gone for the letter D, been gone for the longest of times. And now A meets C. A and C fall for each other. They're together, rocking out till the wheels fall off, right? Now C all of a sudden uses the same type of terminology or dialect that D used to use. A can't figure out why the heck they're bothered by it so much. Someone brought it to their attention. D used to do that. And D was a traumatic situation for them. So they were triggered. They didn't know that they would be triggered. So if you don't get healed, now had you not been traumatized by D and not healed from that trauma, you don't know. We can all say we're good until we're looking in the face of a situation that we think we're good from. My old pastor used to say, it's easy to say, oh, I'm good, I'm great, I'll never. When you're going, you get up, all you do is get up, take care of whatever you got to take care of at home, go to work, come straight back home, and do that on repeat every day. Now you let your task be something different, and you're headed out in the streets, and now you're tempted or experiencing things that you didn't experience with that regular day-to-day. You're going to find out that you ain't healed. You let old Billy test you the way Mr. Michael used to test you. You thought it was fine until it wasn't. So we really have to realize, like, a lot of us jump from relationship to relationship, but we don't even first focus on that first relationship, right? Yes, our parents are our first relationship. But when we're growing up, we tend to get into relationships before we've even gotten to know ourselves, because that's really our first relationship. Hey, Don, welcome to the room. Our first relationship is usually, I know why, I'm like, it feels so quiet in here, because usually I got a little music in the background, and my buddy over here is so quiet today. He's different today. It's affecting me.
Waiting for you.
Listen, you know what the rule of thumb is. If you got something you want to say, you already know what it is. Yeah, I be needing something. It's too quiet in here. It's like crazy quiet. So it makes me feel like all I'm doing is, please, feedback. And then we don't have no feedback today, so that's not helping me either.
Well, we don't have a lot of people on here.
Oh, that's cool. They will come. Those who are here are supposed to be here. You know what I mean?
Right.
What else you got for me, JJ?
She says I look like Miles today. She says I look like Miles today.
Oh, the glasses.
So, wow, what were you saying before? You said, we were saying how although you can heal, or although you may be healed, you still have what happened, or you still have all those things that happened before in you, you know?
Right.
So like this.
You want to do that so early? It's a great point, though. Go with it.
Okay. So, I want you to say some things to this paper.
All right, why don't you explain to the people first what you're about to do?
All right, well.
This way they don't be like, we in our own world over here, we ain't paying them no mind, right? So Jetty had a great idea, guys, of something that he learned, right? I actually had taken you out a bigger piece of paper. That's what I was doing over here.
Thank you.
No problem, right? So Jetty gave me an example earlier of something that I thought would be excellent visual. Those who are visual learners, which a lot of us are, when you see something that means something and it's a good point, you're going to remember it, right? So as we're saying here, we can think that we're fine. We can think that we're good because we haven't been triggered by the things that has caused the pain or traumas in us. You can think time has went by. You can think, oh, I've forgiven that person. Oh, whatever your reasoning or thought process is, right? But at the end of the day, if this piece of paper, go ahead, Jay. If this piece of paper, let's say this piece of paper were a person, and this piece of paper endures, and what Jetty would like to do is he is going to begin to, I'm gonna need you to just back up a little bit because you got the microphone here and it's probably going to create a loud sound. So every time this piece of paper experiences a form of trauma, Jetty is going to begin to show the paper experiencing the trauma. That's what we'll say, okay? Right. All right. So let's say this paper is experiencing sexual trauma, right? Go ahead, Jay. Let's say this paper is experiencing physical abuse. This person is experiencing verbal abuse. This person is experiencing heartbreak, loss, turmoil. And on top of all of that, the person feels like they're not worth anything, right? So now we come along, you meet a nice person or you meet some good people in your life, and they begin to try to undo what's been done. Even some of the people that did it, right? So I apologize to you for the pain that you've been through, right? I apologize to you for the sexual trauma that you've experienced. I apologize for touching you the way in which I did. I didn't mean it. I didn't know any better. I apologize that I judged you the way I did. I didn't know any better. I apologize for hurting you the way I did. I didn't know any better. So cool. So now we've received these apologies from those whom in which we felt like we needed the apologies from, and those who didn't owe us apologies. Move forward. Tell people what they see in Jay.
So like we said before, technically this paper is remodeled. But like we also said before, as you can see, all these little folds and lines and wrinkles is the trauma because it's still there. And like you said, you'll never be the same. You can say sorry, you can apologize, but I guess you're kind of like never fully healed because it's still there.
When it comes to healing, we hurt less. So it's not that you won't heal, you hurt less, or you won't hurt, but the memory never leaves you. So there's always something there that's still, unfortunately, we often feel like everyone goes through things, right? Traumas. So it's normal or natural to carry the residue left behind in reserve. That's for these people that walk around, right? You got some real angry people out here. And I'm not saying they don't have a right to be angry because they done been through some things. But you got some people out here that feel like because they done been through some things, they have a right to be the way that they are. I got a right to be mad. You don't know what I've been through. This is true. I don't know what you've been through. But the same way I don't know what you've been through, you don't know what I've been through. So that is the mindset that if you're not healed, you're going to walk around like people owe you something. If your father wasn't around or your mother wasn't around, some of us have this mindset like, oh, I did it by myself. Ain't nobody do for me. I did it on my own. Great. Round of applause, because there's some people out here that couldn't. And I'm not minimizing what you went through, but you're not the only one with your testimony. So if we don't take the time to first get to know ourselves, get to know how doing it by yourself affected you, get to know how that absentee parent affected you before you go jumping into relationships with other people. Why do I make a connection to jumping into relationships with other people? Why am I making that as a connection? I make it as a connection because it's our relationships that create offspring. It is our relationships that create offsprings of every sort. It's not just, I'm not just talking about having kids. I can have a friend out here. If a hurt person is with a hurt person, all of y'all gonna end up doing is bumping heads or agreeing on each other's hurt at the end of the day, right? So you can have two negatives. The only way two negatives equal positive is in math. It does not just equal, it don't equal positive in everything else. Dawn, we said that earlier. if you don't somehow get some form
Professional help.
of I don't necessarily want to say professional help. You know why? Because the first form of therapy I ever got was not sitting in nobody's office. It was just having somebody that had a sound mind be able to give me sound advice that sets a light bulb off, like, whoa, I didn't think like this. So I'm not always going to tell somebody to go lay up on somebody's couch to get the help that they need. Could you pull up the definition of the word therapy for me?
Yes.
And see if it always relates to professional therapy. It is important for us to get to know ourselves. I feel like if we have the opportunity at any point in life, especially in our younger years, if we get to know our parents and really listen, like really get to know, really listen, ask questions and listen, you can kind of see what you do listening to them. Which is why if we, like, you notice when you grow up, even if you don't have these conversations, when you grow up, you may have goals. Oh, I'm never going to do this like my mom, or I'm never going to do this like my dad, or the exact opposite. Oh, you probably looked up to said parent and you want to be just like them. It's all a matter of always first getting to know you. And everybody don't believe in, the word and in God. So I'm not going to make this about him or make this about God, but there is always a higher being. There is always, we need each other. That's the type of creature. That's how we were created, right? So we were created to be in twos. That was why he did what he did. And it doesn't mean it has to be an intimate thing. That's why people got siblings. That's why people got cousins. That's why you have friends. The human being is not made to be alone. Yes, get it however you get it. Jay, what does the word therapy mean?
Therapy is a variety of treatments that aim to help a person identify and change troubling emotions, thoughts, and behaviors.
Say it again.
Therapy is a variety of treatments that aim to help a person identify and change troubling emotions, thoughts, and behaviors.
I don't know if y'all saw that video that I played at the start. Some of y'all came in a little later, right? I'm gonna play that video if you don't mind one more time. Like how it's saying here in reference to a variety of treatments.
Yes.
So that lets you know, I had written it as there's different forms of therapies. That lets you know that it doesn't necessarily have to be laying up on somebody's, medical. They don't have to have a PhD, but you do need to have some type of help. I find you can get therapy from someone who's been through something that you've been through and they themselves have healed. But then that will mean that you have to know what healing looks like, right? I'm going to play that video for those who were not on earlier.
The healing process is like, I thought I got over it, and it's been a year, and something triggered me, and now I'm in my car crying. The healing process is I'm still screaming and angry about something that happened a long time ago that I thought that I had gotten through. A lot of people don't choose not to heal because of how hard it is. Healing is, right? It's like an emotional battle between you and yourself. Every day you have to choose you. So it's a very real experience, and people say go heal, like it's easy, like it's quick. It's not. It's a long, hard process, but when you do it, baby, I swear to God, you crying. Woo! I'm telling you, when you do it, that glow up, right? Ooh. Because what happens when we do heal is, yes, it still hurts a little, but we look at our journey and everything that we've been through, and that same cut, that same wound will not hurt you again. You cannot hurt me from something that I have healed from, okay? But in the same token, we cannot heal if we keep on touching the fucking stove, right? If we keep doing what we know we're not supposed to be doing. But the healing process is not fun. It isn't sweet. It's a journey. It's a really long, hard journey, and sometimes we gotta do it alone.
sent you something. I don't know if you want
Instagram folk, I just want to tell y'all, I apologize. We are new to the Instagram platform of live tonight. So I'm trying to find ways to get you guys the same content that our YouTube, Twitter. Oh yeah, we're live on Twitter too. The YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook people have. I'm gonna figure that out. Some of them do not involve other people. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right when it comes to that, E. See, I can't put that on the screen, or can I? They show his no, again, it's Instagram. Instagram sucks because
you can't add Instagram to it?
No. Even though Facebook owns Instagram, for some stupid reason, they won't let it all intertwine. So,
this is something.
Go ahead. You got
it's probably too late to show the video, so I'm gonna show it on my phone. But
what is it?
Just a thing.
Send it to me, and we'll show it at the end. Where is it? You emailed it? Email it to me.
Email it? Okay.
Because then I can get it in the downloads. Do you have something that you want to say?
Yeah, I'll say it when we show it then.
Okay. So some things that I have written, I have so much stuff written, it's insane. I can see I'm not going to get through it, right? It is also possible to experience intensifying and seemingly unshakable anger, sadness, or anxiety that feels like it is taking over your life, like when we experience sudden deaths, especially when we lose kids or people we consider innocent. So I have a friend who's going through something right now, a very close friend of mine who's going through, a hard time in their life. We all go through this. Loss is so hard because we can't control it. We're all going to die someday. And no matter how much we know that, it does not make it easy at all when we lose people, right? So I have a personal experience for my own self where a lot of y'all already know that my little sister, my baby sister, was killed when she was 26 years old. When it first happened, I'm a person who I'm busy, constantly going. So when I deal with anything, that's kind of what I do. I just keep moving. So, it's my sister. So now I know my mom, her dad, they had things that they were going to have to take care of. So I just jumped into take care of everybody mode, right? And I know I'm not the only person that does this. And you just keep going. I flew down from New York, went down to Georgia, just any phone calls that had to be made, start reaching out to all the family, reaching out to whomever had to do the obit, just moving. Prior to me leaving, though, a friend that I had at the time, her and a good friend of mine that I have now, was on the scene. And, I'm just stating everything that got to be done and stating what I've been told in reference to my sister's murder, just diarrhea of the mouth, nonstop moving. So the young lady, she was like, sit down. So I sat down, right? So then when I sat down, she placed her hands on my chest. First off, that was probably the first physical contact I had experienced from getting the news. Yes, my kids were around, but I kind of was to myself. And when she placed her hands on my chest and insisted that I sat down just to be still for a moment, I just broke down crying, right? The beginning of healing requires us to sit down, even if it's but for a moment. That's the beginning. It's going to take longer. There is no time frame. There's no clock on how long it takes a person to heal. Can nobody tell you what your healing process is? Can nobody tell you what your healing time frame is? Everybody heals differently. Everybody's experience of healing is completely different. Healing can look like laughter. Healing can look like crying. Healing can look like going out and partying with your friends. Healing can look like throwing things up against the wall. Like, it can look like anything. Can't nobody tell you what your story is to look like at the end of the day. But you got to be willing to go through it. That's the first thing. You got to be willing to sit down and experience and feel those feelings. You can't run from them. You can't drink them away. Tried it. I can tell you from experience, you can't drink them away. Can't smoke them away. You can't party them away.
Drug them away.
You can't, at the end of the day, you can't pull out what you've been through. Like, you can't just cut yourself open, take it out, pain's not there, it's over. You gotta process it. You gotta go through it. Right, Jay? Right, Jay?
Yes.
Go.
Yes, but I was gonna say a lot of what you're saying goes with what I want to say with that video. I've emailed it to you already.
Go ahead, talk.
So I'm not gonna say a lot of what you're saying, but before when you said that, I'm just gonna take this. When you said that when your friend had you sit down, she placed her hands on your chest. What was I gonna say?
I don't know, but
Oh,
you
how
gotta
she
focus.
yes, how you broke down in tears. You said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I believe that when it comes to healing, you can't really, you can't heal if you just keep everything in. Like you said, healing can look like a lot of different things. So, it's not necessarily saying that you have to go and speak to somebody to let everything out, but you can't just hold all that in,
Mm-hmm. Don't stop.
Right, it was but you can't just hold all that in, because the more you hold all that in, it's like if you got a soda bottle and just every time, and the more you keep holding it in, the more that soda bottle is fizzing and, being shaken
Mm-hmm.
until, and or like popcorn was popping in the microwave, eventually it's gonna pop. So if you keep holding it in, that soda bottle is going to pop and it's going to explode. Sometimes we have, like, I literally just explain it like that. We'll call it a pop scene, where we pop like a balloon,
Right.
Like, I've had times where, because I don't know why, but I'm the type of person who just, certain things I don't like, how do I say, not putting out, but I keep it in, I don't like, I guess, yeah, putting it out. So eventually I've had times where I'm sitting down and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just, just break down in tears. I get mad, get frustrated, and even if I'm not mad or frustrated, I'm just sitting there, I might just break down in tears. Or if there's a lot of things going on in that moment, and then there could be somebody who's there and they do something or say something, it could be super small. And it's like if you got a balloon and a pin needle and just stuck it to the balloon, pops.
I think I got what you're saying. I think I got it. I can't seem to get what you wanted on here, and it's not taking your email. So, I'm gonna work on it though. Our audience is rather quiet today.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I mean, it feels different. It's not bad. All right, so some tips for you as you heal, right? So this is going to sound like a read off. Why? Because that's what it's about to be. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, cool. So there's some tips to healing for anybody that's going through anything, needs some healing. Don't know that they need some healing, right? So practice self-compassion. Sometimes we hold ourselves victim. Sometimes we hold ourselves victim to what we went through. Maybe blaming yourself, right? I keep going back to that trauma of being disrespected, rather be touched the wrong way, rather be, if a kid touched the wrong way, or rather be raped or have you, what did I do? What did I do to deserve that, right? So you have to know to have compassion, not just for people, but also mainly for yourself, right? Often we beat ourselves up because we may blame ourselves for allowing certain traumas to occur. Examples like rape or failed relationships, right? Why did he leave? Failed relationships, blaming yourself. Why did he leave? Why didn't he stay? Why is he not here? You find yourself ever feeling like that? Ever felt like that? As it pertains to who?
TJ.
Who's TJ?
My father.
So at the end of the day, it don't have to be, again, I keep saying it could be any type of relationship where we're blaming ourselves for the way things have gone, right? So the next thing is, go with your message.
You said have self-compassion.
Right.
I feel like anyone who's watching this would know, but self-compassion is simply the process of turning compassion inward. Compassion, sorry. That is very weird. But compassion is like, okay, compassion is almost like being sympathetic or even empathetic to other people. Something that I read, I think last podcast when I was doing research was, and I'm going to always think of compassion like this now. Compassion is to suffer together, is almost like, which is why, with sympathy, or maybe that's empathy, don't remember which one. It's like suffer with somebody else, it's like to understand, put you in somebody else's shoes. You can continue. I said you can continue. I was just giving that definition of what self-compassion and compassion was.
Copy. So the next thing that I had here was don't do it alone. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna be apologizing to my Instagram followers for a while. I think a tip you can add is that list to acknowledge the trauma. You know what, Eric? It's good that you just said that. You cannot heal from a wound that is covered with a Band-Aid. The reason I say it's funny that you say that, E, is because when I was doing the research, right?
When we were doing the research, because when I was reading that too.
So I'm gonna speak for me real quick, baby boy. I'm not taking from what you got going. Okay, I promise. So I noticed in almost everything that every other few pages or paragraphs that I came across, the word acknowledge was being used. I found that to be a key point, right? That you couldn't escape from. Acknowledging the hurt, acknowledging that you are hurt, acknowledging that someone hurt you. Emotional healing is the process of acknowledging. Acknowledging was like the freaking leading word. Then it had down in the bottom where it says, it will be uncomfortable, but acknowledge. Everything was acknowledge. Again, I said, I think at the start, we act like we don't need healing, or we say we don't need healing, or I'm fine. If you're denying what your truth is or unaware, then it's impossible to acknowledge, right? The next tip that they had on here for healing was thank yourself. Sometimes during our pain, we express our hurt and try to escape it using different vices. While the vices may not be good or healthy, until you work through the healing, at least you're here. You did what you needed to do to make it to another day. That, and maybe that day could be your breakthrough. Now, I'm not one that's going to encourage vices, although I know that's something that I do. How you doing, Miss? How you doing, Carol? I'm not a person who encourages vices, but those who can't do, teach. And since I can't seem to stop at this very current time in my life, I'm not doing it for the sake of running from anything, though. It is said within the literature that I was reading that if it's something that you just need, like that one moment, not that it's a problem, that one moment just to come out of your head, maybe a little bit, just to calm down, maybe a little bit, at least you push through that day, because you got some people who will go and take drastic measures to try to just take themselves off the earth because they don't want to deal with the pain. So I feel like that was the reason that they made the mention of the vices. But thanking yourself really is more so thanking yourself that you didn't give up, that you pushed past another day. So I have a message here that says, the journey of healing yourself isn't going to be easy. You ever cut yourself and not feel some sort of pain, and wounds heal, they hurt less. That's true. That is the metaphorical and literal. Boy, I was about to chop up the word metaphorical for a second. The next step was, don't do it alone. It's not always necessary. Like, a lot of times when we're hurt and we're going through something, we find ourselves in a place of depression. You go into that deep, dark space and you just don't feel like being around people. Or even you can be around people and you feel like you're still alone. Try not to go deeper into that dark place. If there's help out there, get it. If your friends are extending a helping hand, get it. If people are just trying to be there for you to comfort you, accept it, take it. Don't do it all by yourself, right? And don't try to fix it all at one time. I saw a therapist recently and I had mentioned that, I wanted to lay down some vices that I know that I deal with. I vape. Sometimes I was drinking just to be able to sleep because I'm a person who my mind is constantly thinking, and I can't shut it up. And then I work 16 hours. I come home exhausted and I can't get my mind shut up so I can get a nap before I go back to work to do the same thing. So I was just like, I want to be able to go to sleep without leaning to alcohol, or I want to be able to go throughout my day without puffing on 6 or 7 different vapes, just the constant. And she was like, we're going to work on you fixing it, but don't try to do it all at one time. It's too much. You're going to put yourself in a system overload kind of situation. And then when you fail or you're unsuccessful because you try to do too much too soon, you perceive yourself as a failure. And then you may not even give it an extra try, right? So the next thing was to sit through it. I think that is very important. I said sit through it. It actually says see it through. I made that same error when I was writing this stuff down. This is one of the hardest things. Oftentimes, this is when we lean on our vices the most: drinking, smoking, vaping, drugs, etc. We try to numb the pain, escape our emotions. This is not only unhealthy, but it isn't going to cure or fix the problem. We have to sit through our emotions to be able to process them. What happened? How did it make you feel? What can I do about these feelings? What should I do to make these feelings go away? Healthy. What should I do? Healthy. How are these feelings affecting my life? This is one of the steps that the therapist or trusted friend can help you get through. She better platform, y'all ain't going. Sorry about that, Eric. I just said for the first time today that I was going to try to go on the Instagram thing, and I picked it up, but I really wasn't prepared for it. It's a challenge to pay attention to YouTube over there, this here, Instagram over there. It's a lot going on. So I do apologize. We were not ignoring you. You see, I would get to you when I saw it. I do apologize. I'm gonna get that Instagram thing down though. Just give me a little time. And then last but not least, know that progress isn't. Jetty, can you look this word up? When I read it the first time, I didn't know what it meant.
I've heard that.
Know that progress is not. Say it again. Linear. How you say it?
Oh.
Say it.
Linear.
Oh. Put the little speaker. Press the speaker. Linear.
No, linear.
Just give me the definition.
Arranged in or extending along a straight or nearly straight line. Okay, sorry. Progressing from one stage to another in a single series of steps.
Know that progress isn't what?
Progressing from one stage to another in a single series of steps.
So you can be feeling great, you can be feeling healed, but we can still be triggered. it may feel like a setback. Know that it is just part of the process. Jay, what else would you like to add?
The video.
Oh, I've been trying, son. I have. Oh, there it goes. Look. So Jetty wanted y'all to see this video, and I want to make sure that y'all do. No. Don't do that.
How are you?
I just said don't do that. You don't listen. Give me a second, guys. I'm working it out. Hold up. No, go here. So I actually had a video for you guys as well to close this out with, but I'm trying to figure out how to get Jetty's video to play. Jesus, take the wheel. Is this here? Is it here?
Mm-hmm.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try this. Jetty, you got a lot of editing to do, buddy, on the audio for this. Yep, you do. Get it together. Listen, for those of y'all who don't already know, if y'all haven't already gotten, broken but not defeated seems to be a good topic for me when I think of this healing process that we're talking about here. Right? Check this book out.
You don't have your book yet? Well, get it now. Broken but Not Defeated by Tashara Gilliard on Amazon.com. Want it autographed? Send an email, lovescompassion@gmail.com, and we will make sure you get your book today.
All right. I really was trying to get this video for y'all, but bro, it's not happening.
Maybe try other.
What are you talking about?
Other when you said open with.
No, this is just opening it. We don't want to open it. We want to save it. We need it to save. It's gonna keep doing this crap.
How are you? I'm okay.
That got me so tight, bro. And I know people have probably seen it, right? But how do you get it to? Y'all in the comments, can y'all help me figure this out? Oh, look at that.
Huh.
All right, that should help.
NVN.
That should help. Oh, look at that. Of course it doesn't help.
I can always just show it on my phone.
Yeah, but how are they gonna see it? With the glare. Right? Go ahead, try it. So Jetty wanted y'all to see something. We're hoping it's gonna work the way he's about to attempt it. Go ahead, JJ.
Okay, let me just get it. Uh-oh.
You're supposed to be ready. Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
Okay, so just close to the mic.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
This is not.
There we go.
How are you?
Well, that
I'm
was
okay.
it.
That was it?
Yeah.
I just did all the rest for
No,
that.
hold on, no, because I'm gonna speak on that now. So, like I said before,
Boy, bye. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
like I said before, you can't really hold your emotions, and sometimes we just pop.
Go ahead, I'm here.
I was reading a comment, and sometimes the smallest things can get you to pop. That video reminded me of something when I was I was going through a stupid drama at school.
Oh, snap. I forgot about that.
This stupid drama at school. And I was in my feelings about something. I was being real emotional. And it was adding up the stuff that was already going on at home. And my teacher walked up to me and she kept asking, am I okay? And I kept responding yes, even though I really wasn't. And then she did this to my shoulder. She was like, are you sure? And that's when I broke down in tears.
What did I say? When somebody touch you, right?
Right. That's when I broke down in tears.
Well, I'm going to thank y'all for coming on with us. I always say it's the weekend. It's Saturday. Y'all can be doing anything else with y'all time, spending time with y'all family. Don't laugh at the way I say Saturday. Anywho, Saturday. That sound better to you? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for those who were engaged at any time. I always put it up there. Again, if there's any prayers, topic suggestions, please feel free. 347-699-5722. Again, that is 347-699-5722. Or you can email us at lovescompassion@gmail.com. Let's not forget, for those who didn't already know, we are on Apple Podcasts. So please feel free, go on. Y'all could just go on Apple Podcasts and type in Love's Compassion Ministries. It'll come up. Y'all could go on Spotify and do the same. Type in Love's Compassion Ministries and pull it up. The whole first season is on there. I learned that not everyone knew we had as many episodes as we had from our previous season. Some people was only able to catch us every once in a while. So thank you. I appreciate you, Miss Madison Gems. I feel like that's iffy. I think. Judge my mind, not my heart. Please go on, download the episodes, like the episodes, follow us, listen to it. There's actually some good stuff. We can actually say we're international now, y'all.
Yeah.
Because we got people in Belgium. We got people in Alaska. People are
like the biggest, what do you call that? The biggest something in America.
Right. Eric is saying.
That is from dealing with it. I say okay to someone else and I lose it. Yep.
Eric, I actually thought about you with this closeout video that I'm about to put on. So please, again, share these posts with you guys as friends on your social media platforms. Share the Spotify link, the Apple Music link. That's how we can grow our following. And the same way you guys feel like, y'all can learn or y'all enjoy what y'all are hearing.
We're on Google.
Jetty said Alaska. Eric said Alaska. I was saying Belgium. I mentioned Belgium. I wasn't the one who referred to Alaska as international.
We're on Google. Oh, it's mirrored. But it's Love's Compassion Ministries YouTube on Google.
Look at that. No, but we do have people across the way that's really listening. And Being Raised by Two Moms seems to be the most popular one at this time. I think we was at like 36 downloads last I checked. But hey, we're doing it. Thank you for tuning in, Jetty.
Mm-hmm.
You got the list. Pull up the list. What are they hearing about next week?
Next week, you can tune in for the topic that we will be discussing. That is church hurt.
You ready for that?
No.
You want to do a different one?
Yes.
Which one?
Sexual predators.
Oof, that's heavy. Tune in next week when we'll be discussing the topic of sexual predators. I guess if I kept on making reference to it when I was doing the healing, why not, huh? Thank you for tuning in. We're going to close out with this little video here. And we will see y'all next Saturday when we come before you discussing the topic of sexual predators.
Maybe right now your journey isn't about love. Maybe right now your journey is about you. Maybe this is a season you're being challenged to be your own savior, to be your own safe place. Maybe right now you're being reminded that the people who walked away were only ever leading you back to yourself, were only ever leading you here. And here, you're okay on your own. You're rebuilding. Here you're adapting and mending and reclaiming all of the pieces you let them walk away with. Here you are being kinder to your soul. You are giving yourself the same kind of love you have always given to others. Here you are not rushing your heart. You are not depending on another human being to fix it. Instead, here you are doing that on your own. Here you are healing.